To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
What is it about Disney that makes us happy? Is it the magical whistle as your ticket is scanned at the main gate? Is it the seafaring smell of pirate water? Or is it charting a course to a land where you may never grow up? Whether it's singing a familiar song, watching a movie, or riding your favorite attraction for the 100th time, Disney undeniably has a way to warm our hearts, believe in magic, and bring joy into our lives. This is Main Gate Magic, a podcast where we break down and discuss the infectious happiness, delight, and thrill of all things Disney. Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another magic and fun-filled episode of Main Gate Magic. I am your host, Jason Braden. As with me, as always, is Thomas and Leia, my two wonderful Disney co-hosts. How you guys doing tonight?
Hey, doing wonderfully. How are you, Jason?
I'm doing fantastic. Thomas, I love the look. We got to talk about the Bruno in the room, right? It's usually the elephant in the room. But yeah, you got the part. Have you dressed like this before?
I have. I took professional cosplay pictures and put like dark circles under my eyes and stuff. So.
That's fantastic. And then, of course, we are also welcoming to the stage the big, beautiful center screen image of the lovely and talented and musical Adassa. Adassa, welcome to our humble little show. It is wonderful to have you here tonight.
So glad to be with you all. I love that intro. Oh, my goodness. I grew up loving going to Disney and being there with my family, especially Disney World. That was my park.
That is something. Thank you so much. I appreciate that because I actually put a lot of time and effort into that short little video because I wanted it to speak to what this show is all about. And it's got a lot of like little Easter eggs in it and stuff too. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. So yeah, thank you so much for taking time off to be on our show today. I really do appreciate it.
Oh, I'm glad to be here.
So I know that your time is a little bit short today, but I appreciate whatever time you're able to give us. So we're just going to kind of hop into the Q&A. But I'm gonna ask a brief pause because we have to say hello to our audience members. We have our usual fan Patricia is on. She says, "Hi everyone, you are awesome." We already got compliments flooding in. You are awesome, Adassa. My husband Corey and I got to meet you at Brickonomicon. Wow, that's a mouthful. And Smoky Mountain Fan Fest last year. Yeah. Do you remember her by any chance?
Oh, Patricia, how wonderful to see you again. Well, even if it's just through this wonderful means, but oh my goodness, how wonderful. And yeah, Smoky Mountain was so much fun, and Brickonomicon, never forget it. So thank you for being with us, Patricia.
Is Brickonomicon, is that like a Lego thing or is it something else?
Well, it was a little bit of mixed. Like they had a lot of different things going on. And it was a really fun con. I actually took my kiddos on that one.
Do you take them for every show?
No, not everyone. Otherwise, it would just be a little much. But yeah, so I'm thinking about taking them to Memphis with me at the end of the month for MegaCon. So looking forward to that one.
I'm going to circle back to that in a second because, we talked about the kiddos earlier, so we're gonna circle back to that in a minute. But before we go there, I'm going to say hello to my father, who is always watching us, Mr. Odie Braden. Hello, Dad.
Hi,
Good
Odie.
to see you.
Howdy.
We were talking about him earlier before the show started. Mr. C. Andrew Nelson is in the house saying greetings from the dark side.
Andrew.
Hey, Andrew.
And then Sarah Marie Retta says, hello, everyone. Hi, Sarah. Good to see you. I hope you pronounced that right.
Hi, Sarah.
All right. So if you guys have any questions, please put them in the chat early because the earlier we can get to them, the better. Time is limited tonight, so please ask away as we go. And okay, so Thomas, did you want to go ahead and lead off?
I'm sorry, I have a burning question. So
I know you do. Go right ahead.
First of all, were you that person? No, I'm just kidding. First of all, did Dolores was there ever an idea for Dolores to ever have her solo, like a solo song, or if not, were there any like deleted scenes that or like alternative plots for Dolores that you might be able to share with us?
There were deleted scenes. There was one that Dolores hears when one of the family members was in the bathroom. That one didn't make it. And I hope to one day have my own song. I think that would be super fun for Dolores. song, or maybe even sing a song with Mariano. I think that would be wonderful.
Yeah. I always
But
Is he
tell
the
them,
one that
I did
is he
have
the
a
one that wrote the song at the end and this all the other songs as well, or is that somebody else? I'm not familiar with the names. I'm
oh,
sorry.
Mariano is
Yeah.
the love of Dolores, but he was engaged to be
Oh,
married
okay.
to Isabella. And
yeah.
so they got to have a little moment when she was like, "You talk so loud, you take care of your mother and you make her proud. You write your own poetry every night you go to sleep, and I'm seizing the moments, would you wake up and notice me?" And so that
Dolores.
was the moment. You said it right there,
Dolores,
exactly.
I see you.
Okay, I'm gonna say the next line. Let's get married.
Slow down.
Okay, I can die happy because Dolores is my favorite from Encanto, so it's just okay.
Oh,
Yes.
thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. She was such a fun character to
So,
play. But
so for those who, oh, sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
I did get a fan song on Oreo and CG5. There's so many people from the fandom that came together and they wrote a song for Dolores called Turn It Down.
Wow.
Turn it down. Oh, oh, somebody please just turn it down. And it just blew up online. So it was
Ooh,
such a fun song because she wrote a fan song for
Oh
Dolores.
That's
my
so
so
gosh,
cool.
cool. Love that.
amazing.
Maybe they can do so sometimes there's Disney shorts that happen after the main movies that they're not really related to the movie, but they just kind of come out on the side as sort of fun little, like a little mini series or something like that. That would be awesome for each character, I think, to have their own little story.
I think so. I think it would add into the magic and to see a little bit behind the curtains of each one of the characters that we didn't really go in depth. And then that way, if there's ever more, you're like, oh, okay, I'm up to speed with a little bit of what's behind this door or that door, you know?
Right,
I think
right.
that'd be super successful. Like people would love to see each like the stories within.
Oh, yeah. I think it would be so fun. So fun to see like what happens, when Luisa goes into her room. Like, does she feel as strong as she seems to be, or does she like have like a whole bunch of like snuggle bears everywhere?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like because she's like sensory overload with the hearing, there'd be a lot of comfort things in her room. Like,
Oh my! I think
yeah.
Dolores would have like a sensory wall. Like everything would be like pastels and like white, and she'll have like like a water fountain and just so many
Oh
things. Like
yeah.
tunnel getting to her room, and there's like noise cancellation headphones that don't work on her, but at least they're there for her friend.
Well, I mean, yeah, she can hear eye twitching for crying out loud. I mean,
I
that
know.
would drive me nuts
All night.
and
all
and I
night,
love
all
her.
night.
I love her hair. Like I usually have my hair in a bun, but I sometimes when it's extra curly, I go for a Dolores vibe. So
I really embraced my hair and my ears with this character because I've always thought of myself of like having big ears. And then when I saw her being drawn, I was like, did you guys do those to scale? Because they look like my ears.
Oh,
So when I sometimes for Comic Cons, I'll have a day of the weekend that I dress up as my character. And so
yeah,
like she really helped me embrace my ears and they're just out there. And I
you know,
love it.
I'm not even kidding you. Actually, when I watched this movie, Dolores spoke to my heart because the same as you growing up, I had ears that just stuck out more. And when I saw her, I was like, she looks beautiful and she's not unconfident about it. And it was actually healing for me. Like,
You see that I
yeah,
felt this way, Leila. I really did because I'm like I would have never dared to put my hair up ever before. Like the one thing
yeah,
I did, I would even like with caps, I would hide the tips of my ears, just like like pin them in. And now
oh,
like
I hear you.
out there, and I love it because she just puts all her hair up, as much hair as she has,
Yeah,
lets it just be up, and then have her ears just pop out because that's part of the gift she has. She doesn't hide it, and so she's allowed
yeah.
me to feel like not hiding mine either.
And
yeah.
she
Okay,
looks
so for
beautiful and
just
adorable. Yeah.
really quick for those people who are just tuning in or who have been living under a rock and didn't see all of our Facebook and Instagram posts, the picture of the character on the screen is who Adassa plays. In the movie Encanto, she plays the voice of Dolores, and she's the one that has super hearing, which is why you see her hand around her ear and hence the conversation. Sorry, I just, for those who just are not Disney fans watching this for the very first time, which I doubt there are, I still feel like I need to explain. Anyway, I want to put it back to the regular view here and ask you a couple of questions because I want to blow people's minds away with the next question that I have. You were talking about taking your kids to some shows here and there. How many kids do you have?
I have 7 kids. 5
Yikes!
babies still at home. So yeah, lots of kids.
You do not look at all, and I'm sure you get this a lot, and I know I've told you before, like you have 7 kids. You don't look old enough.
You know, they keep me so young and alive and vibrant, and I let go of things so much more. I think that I used to want to control so much when I just had one. And then when all of the other ones came along, I'm like, oh, you know, there's so much for me to learn. I'm not just here to just try to keep everything together. I'm here to learn from them and learn from their energy. And so I'm not saying that it doesn't become quite the chaos. Like this week, I was in Utah for my tour, and I was there for almost 10 days. And they came with me for all those 10 days that I was on tour.
Wow.
And so one of the promises that I've made, even in my career, is like, if I travel more than twice in a month, then, you know, if there's a third booking, then they come with me. And in this one, I had just come back from Birmingham like 6 hours earlier, and they moved my schedule up. And then I was like, okay, I guess we're rebooking the flights because you're coming now. And so they were like, yay, airplane.
So you blew my dad's mind. He's like, oh, wow, about the number of kids. Because I was an only child. So, you know, that kind of gives you an idea of why it blows his mind. And then Van is in the house. Van O'Brien says, I want to be Adassa when I grow up.
So sweet. Oh, my
Hello,
goodness.
Van. Good to see you, buddy. And Mr. C. Andrew Nelson says, I can't imagine anyone else portraying Dolores except you. Was the role created with you in mind? And was anyone else considered for Dolores? Were you considered for any other roles? There's a few questions, and I'm going to keep it on the screen for you to read there. Yeah.
I thank you so much for that. I really love the character of Dolores. Don't know if anybody else was considered for the role. I'm sure there were. I mean, for every role that you see out there that somebody finally is the voice or the visual or whatever for it, sometimes there'll be 200-300 people being considered for the part. I'm grateful that I was even considered, and then when I got the call back, I was over the moon about it. And like, would I want to take on any other role? I guess any other role. Oh, I do like Mirabelle. I think she brings so much joy to it, but I couldn't see anybody else except Stephanie Beatrice really doing that role. She has such a great balance between being vulnerable and being comedic, and then at the same time, she brings such spark and life to the character. And I think the songs that she portrays has that same energy. So I think that character would have been great. And I love Julieta's power. Like, I love her power to be able to heal through food, because I love to cook for my kids. Chicken nuggets from scratch. Like, I do my nails when I'm on tour, and afterwards I'm like, and the nails come off because I'm cooking.
I love it.
Mama.
Yeah, food is very healing.
Oh, yeah.
Adassa, can I ask you, how did
go
you
ahead.
get into voiceover?
So I started in voiceover as a weird thing. I was living in Florida, and I was recording my second album with Universal, and I was in the same building with people who did work for TV and film. And they were like, hey, we have this commercial. Could you just hop in there and do a scratch for us? And I was like, sure. And it was a McDonald's. And it was like, McDonald's, me encanta. And I have like a little rap thing. So I read through it, and I did it. And I didn't really think much of it. And I was like, cool, guys, here it is. There it is. And then all of a sudden, one day I go to my to pick up my mail, and then I'm like getting all these checks. And I thought there were those like publisher clearinghouse checks.
Yeah.
Grabbed them all and I threw them in the trash. And my husband was with me, and he was like, honey, that just seems like a lot of publisher clearinghouse. I think maybe you should just open one just to be sure. And there were royalties based on that.
Oh, that's amazing.
And I was like, whoa, I think I now belong to the world of voiceover. And then I started to Toyota and then Secret. And so my voiceover roles were more in the commercial side of things and for brands. And then once my career just really exploded, then I was just touring with like Snoop and Flo Rida and, you know, doing South Yankee. and touring with Enrique Iglesias. And so I went all over the world. But my first dream as a kid was to do something with Disney since I was 9 years old. I knew I wanted to be part of that world. Like I knew that was what I wanted to do. And then I put that dream in the shelf and kind of just was sitting there. And then now, years later, that's when I actually got the call to audition for the role. I wasn't at all looking. I wasn't like sending in anything. It was just one of those things where, life opened its doors and the blessing came.
It was meant for
I
you.
love that.
Like you had this little reserved seat in Disney's universe, and it just called to you. It's just okay, you're ready now. Table 2, come on over.
Right? And it's weird because I spent 20 years in the music industry and I did so much. And I'm not saying it was an easy climb because being an Afro-Latina in reggaeton, so like one of the few women in that realm of music was difficult. And at one point I told my husband, I really want to focus on our family. And that's when we went from 2 kids to 7. So I was home baking bread. Like I was homeschooling the kids, just taking care of my husband's company that he does film and TV music. He has a label called Sky Urbano and he works as an A&R for another label for Warner Chappell. And I literally was upgrading my phone because I had dropped my phone or whatever. And then I was resetting all my passwords, one of which was my YouTube channel. And that's where I got the email of we would like to get a hold of Adassa for an opportunity. And lo and behold, it was Disney.
Awesome.
Oh my goodness, that's amazing.
I know.
Okay, I'm going to throw a quick trivia question in for the people in the chat room while we're asking the next question. They're pretty easy. If you've seen the movie, I didn't make them very hard. The first question is, what is the name of the family in Encanto?
La Familia Madrigal.
That's right. That was for the chat, Adassa, but thank you.
Oh, I'm
So
sorry.
we'll go to the. It's okay. I figured that'd be something for them to answer while
You
we're
said
asking
it way
more
better
questions.
than anyone could have. That was beautiful.
I know.
The home of the family Madrigal.
Madrigal, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
All right. So next question, very easy as well. Who do we not talk about for the audience chat only? Audience chat only. Thank you for the energy, Adassa. And while they are answering, I do have one quick question for you because I just recently watched it. I was like fascinated by Dolores' character in the sense that she has this little thing that she does, where either before or at the end of a sentence, it's this little, like this little squeak.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So the question is, was that written or is that something that you just improv'd and they added it?
Well, the producers and directors wanted something distinctive. So when I was with Jared Bush and Byron Howard, they were like, we want to give her something memorable, like a sound or a special, I don't know. And we were thinking about it. And I thought one of the things that my mom does when my dad says something that is not quite true or it's like embellished any kind of conversation, she'll just go, That's it. Like she won't say.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So I imagined if my mom was like an animated character, she would go.
Wait, does your mom know that? That's why you did that in the movie?
Well, I told her. She was like, "Really? Do I do that?" I'm like, and she does it. Like she didn't even notice she does it because she's like, "That's it." And
I've seen a few characters in TV shows and movies that do that. They're just, it's like part of their character. And then I picked up on it. Like, I think that's like not this last time that I watched it, but the time before. And I'm like, I don't remember her doing that. I'm like, I have to ask the question now. That is so amazing.
So fun. And when I started squeaking, we called it the squeak, and they were like, "Yeah, that's great. Let's do a few more." So I would do it in different tones and in different lengths, like,
yeah,
and just different curvatures on it. And I did that for a couple minutes, and then I was like, "Is that enough?" They're like, "Yeah." Okay.
So they just kind of like pasted it in every place that they needed to, I guess, huh?
It became part of our conversation. It's like how she finishes. "Oh, mira, ves and get one."
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I feel like that's
Now,
very.
I never-
I feel like that's
go
a
ahead.
trait. I feel like that's a trait she would have gotten from Peppa. Just like Peppa's like anxiety, and like I don't know, it just feels like she passed some of that on to Dolores in a way. So
Yeah,
Now, I never ask any of my special guests to do character voices, but I just have to tell you that I very much appreciate the fact that you just burst right into her
Yes.
character. It makes this so much more magical, and I think everybody that's watching will appreciate it too. So thank you for doing that. Because I never ask. I never like to ask. I think it's rude, but you just kind of brought it out there, and I have to say thanks. Okay, so we got a lot of correct answers on who do we not talk about. C. Andrew Nelson, Van, and Sarah all got it right. It is Bruno, of course. But I love that Van said Bruno, but then he says we also don't talk about Voldemort, which is great. That is he who must not be named. Right, exactly. Oh, a Harry Potter fan, huh?
Oh, of course.
I love
Are
it.
you kidding? My kids have the books. We watch the movies. Sometimes we just have like the Harry Potter day, and everybody comes to our bed, and we have the surround system, and we set up two like full-on sofas, the length of the one back here, and we set it up like a movie theater. And then I make like arepas, and I make tacos, and we sit down and just munch and watch.
Oh, that sounds fantastic.
Jake's online and he says, I saw a video where someone was mimicking Dolores's chirps and ended up getting enough pitches to make an edit into Megalovania from Undertale.
Wow.
I know Undertale is a video game, I think, right?
Oh, goodness gracious. My kids love Undertale. They could go on for days talking about Undertale.
Yeah, my kids loved it too. They would not stop. I mean, this was probably like 5 or 6 years ago, maybe even longer. And they just nonstop. They would play it, and then they would replay it, and they just kept going. And, oh my God, there's this thing in Undertale, and oh my gosh, there's another thing in this Undertale game. I'm like, okay, that's nice.
Do you have like you seem like you have like a low voice, but you also could do the really high chirps. So like, do you have like a wide octave range?
I do. I have 5-octave vocal range. So I am naturally an alto, so very, very deep, but I can go.
Oh,
so very, very high, depending. I train myself because when I was younger, I would notice that everyone that got the solos would sing high, and I'm like, oh, I want a solo. And so yeah, so like when I hear like Wicked, and if you care to find me, look to the western sky. You hear that big. Everything's big, and so I had to learn, even though this is very deep. But yeah, that really helps on doing character voices depending on what you want. You just can go and position it.
I love that.
Oh, it's speaking to my heart.
Leia, you think have you ever met Tara Strong before by any chance? Adassa, sorry, that question was for you.
Yeah, Tara, I probably have.
Yeah. Leia and I just started a voiceover class with her. She does the voice of Timmy Turner from The Fairly Odd Parents, and she's also the voice of Harley Quinn, and many, many, many other characters. And you have got that kind of range like she does.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking,
do a lot of different
Jason.
stuff. So you need to do more character voices.
At this last Comic-Con that I did in Birmingham, I was with Debbie Derryberry. She's also part of the Fairly Odd Parents.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Whenever you can learn from those, especially if you're in this realm of voiceover, the more educated that you become and the more opportunities you have to do auditions, that's how you get better acquainted with your instrument, because the voice is an instrument, and depending on what you want to do with it or how exactly you want to voice a character, it's all about playing with it. What does it do? When I do this sound, can I use it for something? You know what I mean? You have to find out what can you do, what sounds cool, what sounds mysterious, what sounds, is this the voice I use for a commercial for like Pepto-Bismol? Like, I don't know.
Just try it out. Yeah.
Whenever I have auditions, I try, here and here, because I need them to go, well, if I get 2 takes, this is one and this is the next. And then and try to guess what's in between, or you can give me a call back and then we can all find out together.
Exactly. Yes.
The greatest thing
100%.
is be able to be yourself, because that's one thing they're really asking for now is naturality. To just
I've seen that a lot.
Voice. But I will say this, as much as they say they don't want it, just do it, because sometimes they don't know what they don't know. And when you actually end up hearing who booked it, you're like, that's not even natural. That is like, I could have done that. So always make sure that you do what you've been asked to do, and then you do what they're not expecting. Because when you
Yes.
Good advice.
guessing, that is what can get you the booking. When you keep them guessing, what is this person capable of doing? Because this was way left field. Like, this sounds like everybody, and that did not sound like anybody.
Yeah.
Leia, I
It's
think
kinda
that's something
cool.
that Greg actually said in the last meeting that we had. Remember, he's like, do something that they don't expect.
Exactly.
Well, actually, yes.
That's
Okay,
good.
so Jason hadn't seen this one. He came on a little later. Seth Green said this with Tara, and it was so cool. He had been at a lake house with his friend, and they had just seen Silence of the Lambs, and they were joking all weekend about Buffalo Bill. You know, he has that
God.
tone. And
That's very
he got
creepy.
the audition for Chris for Family Guy, and he's like, everybody was just doing the same type of like teenager voice, and he just went for Buffalo Bill, and he's like, I'm never gonna get a call back. He got it. Like,
It's because if they're used to saying vanilla, strawberry, whoa, chocolate, then remember the first 5 vanillas or the strawberry and the chocolate. And so it's better for you to stand out for being different than to try to match someone else's uniqueness, because then it's not you. It's not natural.
100%.
That's really good advice. Yeah.
All right, I got some more questions in the chat. But before we get to those, and while we're waiting for people to answer the next trivia question, which is, let's see, what's the one I should choose here? All right, let's choose this one. What plant did Isabella make that wasn't perfect? That should be fairly easy. We'll let I know you want to answer, I know, but if nobody answers in the chat, then we get to start guessing. That's the rule.
Just make something unexpected.
All right. So, see, you're giving clues. It's not fair.
I love it.
All right. Well, Jake got it right first. I'm just going to go ahead and put him out there. He said cactus, and that is 100% accurate. All right. So the next question is from C. Andrew Nelson. He says, "Is there a type of role that you have not played yet that you would like to play?"
I think I would like to play a villain.
Ooh.
The opportunity. I've never ever sang a villain song or anything. But when I went on tour with Disney All Stars to Taipei, Taiwan, they asked me if I would like to sing "Poor Unfortunate Souls," and that song. I admit that in the past I've been a nasty. They weren't kidding when they called me, well, a witch. Oh my goodness. I did not know how much I would really, really enjoy that kind of role. So I do like to see if I could go for some villain roles. I think that would be great, especially to just dig into the deep. You know, yes, I think it'd be great.
Ursula is a voice that I love to do because she had this like such a deep rasp to it, and you know, I mean, my voice is not too far away from it, and I admit that in the past I've been a nasty. You know, it's really not too much different. Pat Carroll, I think was her name, correct?
Oh yeah, she
was fantastic. May she rest in peace. But
have you seen?
She was amazing.
Have you seen Once Upon a Time with the Evil Queen and Lana Priya?
Oh gosh,
I feel like I could see you in that kind of role, but even like obviously your version of that, you know.
I would love to. I think it would be really fun. I think it's cool to be able to push yourself into a place that you haven't been, but you know is boiling within you, you know, to be able to bring it out. Because when you play a character, you get to tap into places of yourself that you don't usually go to because you don't want to hurt people's feelings, or, you know, that's not who you are most of the day. But it's almost a relaxing yoga, I would say, enlightening experience to be able to get lost into a character. The difference is that you need to be able to pull yourself out. Once you go there, it's like, okay, Ursula, let's bring it down. We're because we need some happiness.
Switch to Ariel.
Way to flip it. Jake says, I've been cursed with a baritone voice while all the male Broadway leads are written as tenors, LOL. Yeah, I don't know the struggle for that one, but
I will say there is so many exercises for you that are baritone that you can reach, and you can really get to be able to coast in there and use the depth that you have. it's using your head mix. So when you're singing from the chest, like, ah, that's it. Now when you go, ah, and you're here, and it's coming out of your nose, you can reach those back. You can go from here. So it's mainly mastering that tone right there, that head mix. It's not the head mix. So start doing things like this. It's like the moose call.
I love it.
And at first it's gonna break, but then little by little you'll be able to go, oh, and there it is, and there it goes out. You can unite it and go as high as you want. You can go anywhere you want to go.
I am so enthralled right now.
But it was also a great lesson in singing. I love that. Okay, let's see. Back to the chat here. Let's see. Anybody got
It's
any
like
questions?
it's like a master class by Adassa.
Yes.
I love the craft. I love the instrument of a voice. And when I was being cast in the film, I actually ended up paralyzed from the neck down. So I had to put out for free a vocal course during the pandemic for people just to take it. It was in Spanish, just for having fun and just to like, hey, this is out there for anyone staying home doing, nothing but staring at your wall. And then I had to do my own course so I can learn how to reach my notes again. And this was when I was being cast in the film. So at first I would sing because it came natural. Then I had to learn how to really relearn the instrument I was given post-COVID, post being sick. And that was a whole new thing. So I understood, number one, it is a gift. And if you do not use it, you will lose it. And even when you go through something traumatic and you lose it, you can gain it back with new techniques and with even dietary changes. Because your voice, even if you don't think so, it has a lot to do with how clean is your chest, how much mucus do you have. And so when you're a little cleaner, your voice is cleaner. You're not as, when you're trying to be on the microphone. And by the way, for anybody who wants to do voiceovers, the easiest way to get rid of all the sounds of your saliva in your mouth, eat a green apple, just a few bites of a green apple, and it dries it out without over drying your voice to where you're like, oh my goodness, I need to drink a ton of water. Yeah. And whenever you are doing any stage things and you can't reach your water, you just slightly bite the tip of your tongue, just like this, and it'll release saliva in the back of your mouth. And boom, you'll have enough hydration to go ahead and keep going on your show.
Whoa.
We need to have a class.
Can I hire you to teach
outside
me?
Of the show.
Like for singing and stuff. Oh my god.
Email me. I would love to. I'll do that. I love the vocal instrument. It's beautiful.
Yeah, because all three of us are kind of like either aspiring singers, actors, voice actors, things like that. And this is gold. I really appreciate. I've heard about the green apple before, but the one that I had heard about it is that it helps get rid of the clicks in your speech, like when you're doing narration, things like that.
Especially when you're doing narration and you want to have a sultry, more depth in your voice. The best time to record is right when you get up, when the voice is extremely dry. So then you have that apple so you can keep the dryness without having the over clicks from not having hydration. And then you keep that depth. And then if you do book the gig, make sure you do it as early in the morning as possible and then don't talk until you record. So just mime your way through the day. Don't drink too many liquids. And then when you're about to do the session, eat that apple, go in there so you have the same tone that they booked you for in your audition.
There's the trick, right? Yeah. Okay, I got another question in here from the chat. You let me know how you're doing on time. We're at 7, or actually, what is it?
We got 10 minutes.
9:05 right now? Okay, we're good. All right. So Sarah is asking, what was your favorite scene from Encanto?
Oh my goodness. I would have to say when Dolores says, the only one worried about the magic is you and the rats talking in the walls. Oh, and Lisa, I heard her eye twitching all night.
I love that. Now, why is it your favorite, though? I mean, is that just something that's your favorite line from the movie, or is it actually your favorite scene?
that scene because she was trying to find out, what, Mirabel's trying to find out what's going on with the magic, and I know you hear everything. And so she's kind of giving the instruction of, okay, this is what I heard. Go and find out there. And to give her another clue. And then the very, very simple line is when the dad, that's another one that I really like. When she finds out about the magic, she pieces the magic together. The dad finds out, oh my goodness, he's like, we are not going to tell anybody anything. You did not, Bruno is not destroying the magic. We just don't say anything. And then,
And then it
Dolores,
zooms in.
and
Yes.
it just, she's like,
I heard everything. Yeah.
that's all she says. And then all of it comes crumbling down. But it needed to. I feel like, even in our families today, it's very, very close to the story because sometimes we hide behind the secrets and we don't actually break down those walls that are keeping us from actually having a more uniting experience with those around us and those who we love, because we hate to have uncomfortable conversations. And those conversations need to take place, and that honesty needs to take place, but it needs to come from a place of love, because when grandma, abuela, and Mirabel finally had that moment where she did the dos oruguitas and she was able to kind of tell her story of, this is what I came from and this is what I've been trying to protect you guys from. And Mirabel could understand she wasn't trying to be mean to her. She was just so overprotective that she was kind of smothering everybody with her love, but it's the only way she knew to keep everyone safe. And so I feel that happens in families a lot.
I have to say that movie it's got a lot of magic in it. And I don't mean that just because, it's a Disney film, but there's a lot of great things that happen in it. But it's pretty complicated. There's a lot of like little stories happening around the main story. Like every family member has kind of like their own thing. And especially Dolores, because she is sitting at the dinner table and she's about ready to like burst, right? But she's telling little secrets here and there, and it's kind of going down the table and everybody's freaking out all at the same time. But I feel like her character is like, she's like always on the verge of wanting to just burst out every little thing that she has heard through her entire life.
I mean, even when she does, we don't talk about Bruno. Bruno live in fear, Bruno stuttering and stumbling. I can always hear him sort of muttering and mumbling. I associate him with the sound of falling sand. Yeah. He's trying to tell everybody so quickly, do you understand? Yeah, she says it, and they're like, yeah, no, 7-foot frame. Like, they're not even.
Yeah, I feel like that's just, she's like that, like, got so much inside of her just ready to like explode, and then she finally does a dinner, and that was kind of like her pinnacle moment, except for at the end when she finally meets her true love, so to speak. So
it's actually such a beautiful lesson. There's a book I'm reading right now and it's called The Four Agreements. It's like a really famous book, but one of the agreements on living a peaceful, happy life is not making assumptions and communicating. And when you don't know something, just lovingly asking the person instead of putting ideas in your head and building up things. And I feel like Encanto kind of was about that. Instead of assuming, just communicate and find out the real story. Like beautiful lessons weaved throughout.
Absolutely.
Okay, another trivia question for the chat room. This is who helps to rebuild Casita at the end of the movie? I could just like write a book about the expressions on your face when I show these. It's amazing. So I'm going to let people answer it, but I do have a couple more questions before I let you go for the evening, because I know we're getting close to having your time up here. But what message did you take away from Encanto? Like, everybody, I think, has kind of, like I said, there's a lot of complicated plots in it. There's a lot of stories. It's, you could say it's about family. It's about secrets. It's about reuniting family, lost family members, secrets, gifts, not necessarily powers, but just certain things that people can do better than others. What did you take away from the movie yourself?
Don't be afraid of change.
I love that.
It is the hardest thing to accept, that we need to change. And that was the point of Dos Oruguitas, was we need to go from caterpillars and become those butterflies. And you can never go back to being a caterpillar, because you can't once you make that evolution. And so a lot of us want to stay caterpillars, want to stay in that safety that we know and not go into that unknown. And when everything came crumbling down and everything had to be reset, to be able to understand that in our lives, we will have those moments. I don't even say You might. It's because it will happen. It will inevitably happen. You'll have a change of a job. You'll change the city you live in. Your friends will move away. You make new friends. You know, so many things can happen from health to your faith. There are so many changes we go through. So, not being afraid of change and understanding that it's only leading you to become the person that you're meant to be and to know the things that you don't yet know, yet will change your life towards the better if you see it so, because the resistance that we put against change is what keeps us from being able to finally turn into the butterflies we're meant to be. So if we stop resisting and we embrace change, we will all be able to get there faster and see this casita being rebuilt, including ourselves, our minds, our physicalities, change in ways we could never expect.
Mm.
That is beautiful. I love it.
Beautiful.
Great life
Wow.
lesson. Fantastic. I don't think I could have said it any better. All right, we got a right answer. Van is actually the one that answered it correctly. He says everyone, the whole village. That's right.
We
'Cause
have no gifts, but we promise that we'll do anything for you. Yes, it was.
see,
I
she is the embodiment of Dolores because, like I said, she's got that. She's like, I gotta get it out. I gotta get it out, but I can't yet.
Adassa, you're a Disney princess. Can I ask one more question? I have one. Growing up, or even to this day, which Disney princess, aside from like Dolores, because I believe everyone's a princess, who do you resonate with the most in Disney? Like,
Ariel, Jodie Benson. And it's not just the character Ariel, because Ariel was so innocent, yet she thought she knew it all. But at the end, she understood her father was only trying to do what was best for her and trying to protect her. But at the same time, the father needed to accept that she was growing up and she was going to have to face the world, good, bad, ugly. She was going to have to. So both things stand true, the father's love and her needing to grow up. And after
love
meeting
that.
Jodie for the first time, and now just in Alabama, I got to spend some more time with her. She embodies goodness and she makes you feel safe just as a person. Jodie Benson is a light. And so you just want to be you want to be a moth and she's like I want to go stick myself onto you even if I die. Like she's just and she embodies that goodness and I love being around her and and just feeling that security of the seasoned actor and as well as the goodness within her of being able to portray any character that she portrays and you can just feel the essence of the person coming through because at the end of the day when you're listening to anybody any character that you're out there why do you listen to it why can't AI replicate that person why can't we just be filled with AI all over because the essence of experience comes through the voice the character that you're hearing is the interpretation of somebody with life experiences and that's what you fall in love with it's that
Yeah.
person's life experiences being said through these words and then they put a physical character to it or maybe that's the person who's acting out that character but you get lost in their performance because of the fact they're so good at letting nothing stand in the way of being real and so I love that about Jodie Benson and she will forever not just as Ariel but as a person, be one of those people I look up to and I want to be like Jodie one day.
She's pretty cool. I got to meet her
beautiful.
at
I think you are.
GalaxyCon. Yeah, she's really nice. I'm going to throw one more comment on here, and then we're going to do a quick close for you before we say goodnight. Van says, still one of my favorite interviews I've ever done. Thank you for being such an inspiration, Adassa. I'm still working on the Latin Con idea.
Yes, I would love that. I would love that. Please do hit me up. I think it would be super, 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 super fun to be able to do that.
So before you say goodnight to everybody here, why don't you go ahead and tell us where people can find you on social media? Do you have any upcoming appearances, performances that you want to plug? Now's the moment.
Yes. So I am writing a book and it will be out Mother's Day next year. It's my memoir and also another album. And you can find me on all socials, Adassa Official. That is me on Instagram, TikTok, on all of the platforms. Please follow along for more. I will be in Memphis on the 24th and 25th at MegaCon. And then I'm also going to different parts of the world. I'll be in Colombia. So, yes, I'm even taking the family to Colombia with me. And then I will be in New Zealand at a con in New Zealand. So,
Ooh, wow. I am so jealous. I've always wanted to go there.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Flight, but I'm looking forward to it.
Andrew says, you are an absolute joy. Blessings to you, your husband, and your family. I can't think of a better way to close it for your part of it anyway. For everybody else that's still watching, if you still want to stay on even after she departs, we're going to go for a few more minutes longer just to finish up some trivia questions. And Adassa, again, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us and being on our humble little show here.
Oh,
I had a great time, and
That
I am
sunshine
so
did
happy
tonight.
thank
to
you.
have gotten to know you better.
I just want to leave this message with all of you. Regardless of what you're going through life, find joy and hang on to it, because life can be very, very busy. And I know in the day-to-day, being parents or having animals or responsibilities of your job, you kind of get wrapped up on the day-to-day and you forget what your dreams were. Never forget the dreams of your 5-year-old self. And remember that if you always feed a little bit of that dream, you'll always be so glad you did, and your life will be so much better. And if you really want to enjoy your day-to-day, including the month.
Uh-oh.
That's-
Oh, no. That was such a beautiful speech, and
It
she
was.
froze. Oh, no.
Oh, I want to hear the end of that.
Oh, no. Okay, I think you're back.
Am I back? Okay.
Yeah, you froze right in the middle of your speech. I'm so
Oh,
sorry.
no.
It must have been like an internet hiccup or
You
something.
said your 5-year-old self and like having joy. Yeah.
So see, I think I went back in time and I spoke to my 5-year-old self.
Yeah, there you go.
Remember who you were when you were 5. Remember when you were 10 years old, when there were nothing but dreams ahead of you and no, but I can't do. That's an impossibility. See, everything is possible. And even if it's on your own time, fulfill that 10-year-old, that 5-year-old dream in your heart, and you'll always love waking up every single day. So keep the hope up and keep your dreams alive every single time you can.
Wonderful message. Thank you so
Thank you
much for
so
that. And
much.
again, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
I
So
really
much to you.
hope that I can get you back on again someday, because I feel like we
Yes.
could just talk about so many more things. But
For sure.
yeah, this was great. Thanks again. Appreciate it.
And thank you for having me on Main Gate Magic. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you
Take
so
care,
much.
Adassa. All
What
righty.
a
We are
gem.
back here. I know. That was incredible. I got to figure out how to get back to the regular format. Here we go. That's good. All right. Thomas, you're in the driver's seat today. The rest of the show is yours. Oh, that was.
My heart
I've been
is
looking
glowing.
forward. I know. I've been looking forward to that interview for months
Yeah.
now. I think ever since Bakersfield back in January. So that
Yeah.
was a lot of fun. Patricia says, "Awesome show. Have a wonderful night." We're still here, Patricia. If you're still watching, we're still here. I got another. We'll go for like another 10 minutes. Are you guys good for that?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Good.
And for those who are still watching, we got 11 people still viewing, and I got more trivia for you. Some of them are easy, some of them are a little bit more difficult, but I'll still throw the ones up that I did not show. So, I said, who do we not talk about? Okay, so who is Bruno to Mirabel? Like, relationship-wise, who is he? Do you either one of you know?
No.
They're all
I do.
family, so if you just like kind of think of something, you
Yeah,
know, like what he might be to her, so
I
might
do.
come to you. You do know? Okay, I would hope so because you're dressed as him.
Yeah.
Oh wait, Van says, wait, what did he say? He's got a couple chats in here. He says, great interview, guys. I was going to check out the Tara Strong vocal class. I've seen ads for it. It's so far so good. I've only seen one meeting so far with, what is Greg's last name, Leia? Help me out with that. The guy that did the voice or does
Greg,
the voice of Beast Boy.
I look up Beast Boy Van, and Jason's in for a treat because every month Tara does also a live Zoom class where you get to ask her questions about anything voiceover, and it's
Love it.
wonderful. Like, she's
Love it.
absolute gem.
I'll have to ask
So
you
Van-
about that and say I like Tara Strong a lot. Yeah.
She's pretty cool, yeah. So Van got it right. He is her uncle. Oh my gosh, my dad got it right too. He says Theo.
Because Mirabel calls him Tio Bruno a lot. Tio Bruno.
Yes, that's
Yes.
correct.
Yeah.
Let's see. Andrew just says, "Wow, just wow." Maybe he's talking about the episode because I mean that's kind of how I felt at the end. I
Yeah.
felt like I got schooled in so many things from her, and I like she was like like an inspiration and a teacher of like life, and I just think
Yeah.
that it brought a lot. I loved it.
I was gonna say, I feel like she should be a part-time inspirational TED Talks like teacher or
Yeah.
something.
Totally.
Yeah.
Oh, Van says Greg Sips. Is that right? CIPS?
I
Is that how
think
you
you're
pronounce
right.
it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
He also was Michelangelo in one of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And
Oh yeah.
Right. I remember him talking about that too. Yeah. See, now
Yeah.
every time I say talking about stuff, of course, all I think about is Bruno because I got him staring at me right on the screen here.
Yeah.
All right. So, this one's kind of a. Actually, did I do this twice? Let's see. Yeah, I'll do this one instead. So, what special power did Mirabelle receive when she was 5? This one's a little bit tricky. I kind of made it a trick question. So for those who have seen the movie and you know all the different powers of all the different people from the casita, all the family members, they all got a special power. What special power did Mirabelle get? So, when was the last, Leia, you've seen Encanto. I know you've seen it at least once, right?
I did. I saw it in theaters, so I'm not going to be the best at these questions. Definitely know the Bruno song, and I remember the end, everyone building it. My favorite part was when the grandma did the flashback to them like crossing the river, and that was really
Yeah.
emotional.
I'd always wanted to know more about the backstory. Like, why was the family being chased away? I mean, I'm guessing it had to. I mean, I saw, you see like silhouetted figures in the very beginning that are chasing them across the river, and you maybe get a glimpse of like a uniform outline. So I'm guessing it was like military or something, but I don't know. They really never talk about it, do they?
No.
It looked military-ish. Yeah, I do agree with that.
Yeah. Van says Teen Titans will be in Pasadena next week, and like all of them? That's a lot.
Oh, that's awesome.
I can't believe nobody's answering this question. I feel like it's kind of an easy one.
Yeah.
We're going to go back to the question again. So what special power did Mirabelle receive when she was 5? So all Madrigal family members, when they are 5 years old, that's when they get their powers. That was going to be one of my questions, but I felt like that one was a little too hard. Like, how old are they when they get their powers? But I don't know. I felt like that was a little bit too much. So, Thomas, do you want to take a stab at it, or Leia?
Well, I was just gonna say herself, because she's the gift. But I mean, I feel like you're looking for a specific answer, though. So.
Well, yeah. I mean, I would say that is eventually kind of what she realizes her power is. But when she's older, I think the real answer was when she's 5. She didn't get any power. She was the only family member that actually did not get a special ability.
Oh, okay, trick question.
Yeah.
I sort of like wasn't sure if I almost answered nothing, but then I was like, well, she kind of technically does. So, but
that was right. Yeah.
Hey, you got it right, Thomas. Inwardly.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, she figures it out eventually. I mean, I that's kind of what the message that I felt like was speaking throughout the movie is like, we're figuring out through her story what her special ability is. It has nothing to do with being super strong, having super hearing. She is just the one who kind of unites her family. And I think that that's really prevalent at the end when they rebuild the house and they put the doorknob on the rebuilt house and they say, we made this for you.
Yeah.
And she puts the doorknob on it and the magic comes back. And that's like, that becomes her new door, which I thought was like really special. Awesome.
Yeah.
Van says she has the power to disappoint.
Oh my goodness.
Shame on you, Van. Shame on you. She can burp the national anthem, my dad says. No, that's my special power. But we're not going to prove it on this show. That's for another time. All right. And then let's see, the last question that I'm going to do before we wrap things up here. I was just talking about it. What letter is carved on the new doorknob to the rebuilt casita? So at the very end,
I think I know this one.
Yeah, it's not, like I said, they're not too difficult. At the very end, they the whole village rebuilds the casita, and they give Mirabelle the doorknob, and then she puts it in the door, and the house comes back to life again, and everything's wonderful, and they have their happily ever after. But what letter was carved? And Van is the first to respond. The letter M. That is correct. And Sarah got it. Now, Sarah's... Okay, this is interesting, Sarah. I'm going to pose a question for those who actually want to put something in the chat before we close our show this evening. She says M for madrigal. So that could be an answer. But when, and I forget the little boy's name, the one that could talk to the animals, or he could hear or understand the animals.
Antonio.
Is that what his name was?
Yeah, I think it's Antonio. Let me see.
Okay.
I think it's.
Well, we'll say that's what it is for now. But the important thing
yeah.
is the little boy hands her the doorknob and he says, "Here, we made it especially for you." And it has
Mirabel?
the M carved on it. So is it M for Madrigal or is it M for Mirabel?
That's
They
a
never
tough one
really
because it could
say.
be Madrigal. It could be the family last name because she brought the family together, but it could be her because
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's more for her because because of the phrase that he says, "We made this for you." And she's the one that kind of brought everybody back together and brought the magic back to the house, ended the curse, all that kind of stuff, reunited Bruno. She did that all, and
Yeah.
I think I think it's for her. But I started thinking about it and I was like, maybe it's Madrigal, maybe it's Mirabel, but
I think you're right, Jason. I think it was a happy coincidence, probably on the writer's part, not a coincidence that it was the same letter.
ooh, my dad says M for miracle. I like that. There is actually a song in there that has the word miracle in it. Something Waiting for a Miracle, I think is what it's called.
Yeah.
It's a really good song. Near the very
Yeah.
beginning, I think it's Mirabel's second song that she sings.
Mhm.
And Andrew says it was an E for e-ticket.
Mhm.
But what a fun ride at Disneyland that would be. A trip through the casita, that would be so cool.
I
Like a
agree.
walk-through experience,
That
maybe.
would be cool.
When
I
we were
agree.
doing our show for, what was it? Oh my God, the one we did with Jerry just recently.
With Jerry, I was just thinking about that.
The Keys to the Kingdom. Yeah, so that would be another great attraction for Disneyland. Let's see. Van says, I think he said we made this for you because she never got a doorknob. Yeah, I believe that as well. I think she's in it for the family. She's it for the family. Yeah, I would agree. That's a good answer. I don't even know if there's any wrong answer. I think they all are great responses to that because it's all
Yeah.
about them and how she brought them all together and everything. So I just thought that was awesome. So, all right, folks. Well, we are at the end of our show. Wah. But we have more in store for next week. Now, for those who are listening, pay attention because we actually are going to be on a special night. Instead of Tuesday at 6 p.m. Pacific, we are actually going to be broadcasting live from Facebook and YouTube on Wednesday night at 6 p.m. And that is because our next special guest was only able to do it on a Wednesday instead of a Tuesday. He's got other plans. So Wednesday, May 21st, 6 p.m., the invite is already on the Facebook channel and the YouTube live section. So set your reminders, set the bookmarks, whatever you need to do. Just make sure that you remember that it is on Wednesday instead of Tuesday next week. And our next special guest is going to be none other than Mr. Phil Lamar. Now, I know there's some people in the audience who know who he is. What I think he's mostly known for in physical form, or at least physical appearances, is from Pulp Fiction. By show of hands, how many have seen that movie? Yes? Thomas?
I love that movie.
I have
No,
not seen
Thomas?
It. No.
I'm a
Thomas,
Tarantino fan.
Thomas, you have homework. If you
Okay.
have never seen it, have you ever seen a Tarantino movie before, though?
I have, but it's been a while. I'm gonna have to Tarantino it up this week.
Yeah, so watch Pulp Fiction, and really, you really have to, if you want to see the stuff that Phil was in, you got to watch the beginning and then also close to the end because he only has 2 sections of the movie that he's in, but they're pretty significant. But anyway, he was in the apartment with all the other guys when Vincent and I forgot Sam Jackson's character's
Travolta.
name. Yeah. Vincent is John Travolta, but I can't remember Sam Jackson's character's name. But anyway, they go to the apartment to find the briefcase.
Yeah.
And he is actually one of the characters inside that apartment, and I think is the only one who actually lives through it. So
Yeah, he's
you
the
have
one
to watch
standing
it.
up. Yeah.
Yeah, he's on the couch laying down. Or no, he is standing up. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. But anyway, he has done so many voices for. He's done stuff for Star Wars. He's done stuff for Marvel. He's even done stuff for DC. And he is also the current voice of Hermes in the TV series Futurama. So he's
Whoa.
been doing, I'd say that's probably like one of the ones he's done the most, but the man is got like he's another person that's got like 1,000 voices, but we'll try to focus on all the Disney stuff, obviously, when we have him on next week. So next week, Wednesday, 6 p.m. I'll keep saying it, and I will put reminders on our social media for those who need them. And be sure to catch us on those social media channels, folks. Main Gate Magic on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook. And for the audio shows, you can go to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and Podcast Network. So if you liked the show and you had a good time, I'm only going to ask one thing, whether you're listening, watching, or both. Tell your friends. Have them come on by. Drop in the chat. Say hello. Be a part of the show. Have some fun for 1 hour out of your week. And Adassa, again, she was like honing in, I think, on the theme of this show. She's like, find joy in everything, right? Or in your everyday life. And what have I said before? Find that little piece of magic in your everyday life, whether it's a sip of your, the first sip of coffee in the morning, or a flower that you see while you're walking down the sidewalk one day, something, find it and relish in it, and just carry that magic forward and share it with the world, because that is what's going to bring that joy, I think, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Andrew says, wow, Phil is terrific. Yeah. Oh, he says, woo woo. Phil is terrific. Yeah. He is a pretty cool guy. And then Van says, oh, yeah, Mad TV. Phil was also on Mad TV. And awesome. Andrew also says, fantastic show, everyone. Thank you, Andrew.
Thanks,
appreciate
Andrew.
You guys all watching. And Thomas, Leia, thank you again for joining. Pleasure to have you both on.
Thank you, Jason. So wonderful.
And Thomas, I'm sorry, but I have to give you special props for like seriously bringing your A game to the show. You definitely get a round of applause for your costume.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was way to
giving
step
you
out
an
of the
invisible
box.
Oscar.
That's right. Yeah. Just don't give a speech that's too long, because otherwise I'll have to give you this music. Wrap it up. Come on, wrap it up. All right. All right, folks. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you guys again next week, Wednesday, 6 o'clock p.m. for another fun-filled episode of Main Gate Magic. Take care. Have a great week. And stick around for a fun little message. Adios.
Thank you for tuning in to another fun-filled episode of Main Gate Magic. We hope you enjoyed the show. It's been our pleasure bringing a little Disney magic into your life. Please remain seated while the show comes to a complete stop, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the podcast at all times. For more information about upcoming episodes, please make sure to follow, like, and subscribe on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. You are now free to exit the show. Please watch your step, and be sure to tune in next week for more Main Gate Magic. Bye-bye.